I was almost 20 minutes away from 9.
A little something for the weekend with Sam Hunt.
It's a little something for the weekend. Sam Hunt joining us this morning. Morning, Sam.
Good morning, Wammo.
How are you?
Good. I was a little taken back by the title of that last song.
It's a song for old people.
I'm feeling a bit ancient today.
Oh, I don't think that included you.
Oh, no.
No.
I think it could have. Speaking of feeling one's age, we've had a computer now for about a year,
Yeah.
or a bit more than a year. And one thing I really do enjoy is being able to, well, one of the many things, is being able to track poems down by people. Because especially living in the sticks, I don't get much to decent bookshops, But what I can't work out, this is where possibly this age thing shows itself, its ugly face. A lot of these websites, they use the most ridiculous writing. You know what I mean? That sort of so-called handwriting.
Oh, just because it's poetry, they think, oh yeah,
Yeah.
we'll put it in Comic Sans.
That sort of thing. It's awful.
Yeah.
It's like I used to say and I still do say, when they're filming, if they're ever filming me on a beach, like some film thing, news or documentary or something, I say, do not put a seagull in it, please. In the old days, whenever you had a poet, you'd always have her or him plonked on a beach, and there'd be always seagulls around.
Yeah.
I think it was a sort of a hangover from Jonathan Livingston's Seagull.
It's always got to be something reflective or something, doesn't it?
That's right. Put me in a prison cell. Would it be closer to it?
Yeah. Fair enough. Good. It's good for you to get that out there. And so, if anyone who's in TV production land listening,
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. But one of the great pleasures continuing is finding that, nothing to do with the silly handwriting. That's at the top of this one. But in one of the websites, it's called Best New Zealand Poems. And by way of that, and this is, I guess, the whole thing to do with anthologies, you get a taste of somebody's work, and then you go and find more of it, which is great. In this case, I'd like to read a poem by her. I haven't checked or asked her permission or anything, but I hope she doesn't mind. Her name's Emma Neal, and she's published 4 novels, none of which I've read, but I'm going to at least give them a go. And did a book of poems which came out last year called Spark. And I don't know much about her except that she's in Dunedin and she's involved with creative writing course at Otago University. That's where Graham Downs has got the music thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it does, yeah.
That's right.
Have you heard any of the new Verlaine stuff?
Have I heard it?
Yeah.
No, not yet.
Oh, we'll just see if we can somehow get a CD up your way. It's very good.
Yeah. We're doing an album, myself and the Heavy Eights, we're doing we think we're going to do a live album. There's a possibility of using a shearing shed which is being made into pretty much a permanent studio down in the Catlins.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So what we'd do is I'd fly down to Invercargill.
Yeah.
And for a giggle. And anyway, look, let me read this poem which I came across, and thank you to the internet, to Windows 7.
Have you got the new Windows 7?
No, I haven't. I heard about it on the radio today. But Alf tells me you can get a disc and you can plug into it.
It's probably better than what you're running there. That's in my opinion. Anyway.
Is that right?
Yeah, it'll make things run a lot smoother.
Is that right? It's pretty smooth as it is, but if it gets better, well, I suppose so.
Yeah.
Let me read you a poem and listeners, a poem of Emma Neal's, which I love. It's a little explanation. She says that it's based on a real incident where she found herself trying to protect her young son, and she says, and apparently oblivious cat, from getting lacerated by a shattered glass. And there's a phrase in it, Om Mani Padme Hum, which is I think it's a Tibetan mantra, a Buddhist mantra. So apart from that, I think it tells its own story. I think it's a great poem. Mirror. In the wind, a door slams with the sound of a drunk felled at the hips, then sent body long through the percussion end of an orchestra. The bedroom mirror slides down the wall, tilts, hits the dressing table, and smashes. Some small and furious archangel has dumped out God's cutlery drawer, trashed creation's back cupboards, strewn across the carpet are cutlasses, sycamores, scissors, stalagmites, crescent moons, dog claws, cactus fibers, party glitter, and silver threads fine as baby hair that would lacerate the skin like wire. Stand back, I gasp at my son as his hands reach out to clasp each pretty, glistening trinket. He flinches, freezes. Only then, like some half-starved guru, the cat pads in his purr, a mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum, as he winds himself around our ankles, then walks straight over the glassy coals, their fringe of reflecting fire. And the 4-year-old, an eager disciple, lifts the mirror's empty frame, a picture of rapture, for now he can see through his whole self, straight to the heart of the world.
Wow.
You like that?
I do like that.
Isn't that good?
Yeah.
That's great. It's really, really good. So thank you, computers. I'll say I've got. I think I'll say I've got Windows 17. That'll have them jumping, eh? Well, I'll be using my Windows 17 program too. But I hope they get rid of that stupid bloody writing. Did I mention last week? Last week when we spoke, Wammo, I don't know if I mentioned that the following Sunday, which is last Sunday, that I was going to the Raupo School of Rock, which is near Raupo, just upriver from Rurawai. It's just a little settlement, and there lives my son Alf's guitar teacher, a great man by the name of Dave Salter. He's a commercial fisherman, and he's a guitar player. He used to have a band years ago called Joe Public that some people may remember.
I've heard of Joe Public.
Joe Public was his band, and he was the front man for Joe Public. Well, in these later years, he's teaching. He plays guitar and teaches, and he's got. So last Sunday at Rurawai, it was a lovely Sunday afternoon. A long time since I'd been to a sort of something as relaxed. It was at the Rurawai Pizza Bar, which was once upon a time a bank, like a lot of small town New Zealand.
Yeah.
Rurawai's the sort of town that after the 80s never really got back up off its knees, and it's quite a hard, but it's a good little town. It's a bloody good little town, and made all the better, I think, for something like last Sunday.
Worth a visit, worth a stay?
Well, don't know. You'd want to coincide it with when. So what happened on Sunday afternoon at the pizza bar? They had 3 bands, all of whom are pupils of Dave's, from what we jokingly call the Raupo School of Rock. There was a band called Surefire. They were about 13, 14-year-olds, bloody good.
Yeah.
Another band, quite different, spacey sort of band called Detriment.
Great names.
Good name, eh?
Yeah.
Detriment. And then Alf, the youngies, that included my boy Alf on lead guitar and backing vocals.
Yeah.
Said Proud Father.
Yeah.
And they're called Power Shot.
Brilliant.
And so these 3 bands, plus some individuals, young, it was a bloody good afternoon. It was so... A friend took some photographs, which they've given us now, again, looking on Windows 17, I can check it out.
Were they playing their favourite songs? Or,
yeah. There were a couple of originals.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Oh, yep. And, Alf's band did, they're very much, well, they're 11-year-olds, pretty much, I don't want to be, but Green Day and the Chemical Romance song.
Yep.
And one from Shehad.
Great.
So, they did 4 songs and all, and that one, that great old standard number, I Fought the Law and the Law won.
Yeah, brilliant.
Breaking rocks in the hot sun. I like that.
Yeah.
So no, it was great. It was just so. I was looking at the photographs the next day, and you couldn't see a single bloody wanker in sight. It was good. It was a lovely time.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah. I've got a quick request, but I may have to leave it till next week. But a person wrote to me, asking if I'd do a poem. Would I have time to do it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's a poem I wrote years ago, and I had an email from a woman called Rachel, who lives on Banks Peninsula, and she asked if she listens to this program, and she and her partner would like to hear me say a poem which I wrote for my son. It gives an idea of how old the poem is. It says for Tom, aged 4.5. So
cool.
Tom's now 33.
Wow.
So that's right. So it's just nearly 30 years ago. But
Yeah.
it's called Death in the Street. Said for Rachel and a partner, and for anyone else who would like to listen to it. And of course you, Wammo. Here we go. Death in the Street. A widow of 4 days, and it's rained every day since. She walks up the road, her red umbrella high. You ask if she cried. Do old people cry when their cats or dogs or dads die? And where and how and why? A widow of 4 days, she seems already used to walking alone. Only last week, she and her husband walked past up the street, stopped by to speak. She chatted about an old friend, newly dead. He looked impatient, shuffled his feet. Was he drowned? Your questions roll on as ever. Or was he run over? And I, as ever, explaining. And why, you ask, the umbrella, it's already stopped raining.
Nice one.